because a lot of them are literally false. They're just twisting the actual policies to fit exactly this situation.
Right.
For example, one of them is hanging flags. That happens all the fucking time. And also, we've looked through the policies. Pretty sure it's not a policy. They just made it up.
Not the hang flag.
They keep coming at whenever time is convenient for them and trying to do a safety tour. I think I told you. They want to walk through the camp. Now, if you haven't noticed, we now have 7 of these cameras pointing out. So there's 3 here, 1, 2, 3. There's 1 on the physics building, and I actually don't know where the other 3 are, but we have, it's documented where they are. So the point is, they know the operations of the camp. They know, like you're here for, where we're going. They know the layout. They know the materials we have. There's no reason for that to go. But they keep saying that they refuse to have a dialogue with us. They refuse to talk about our demands until they have a safety tour. We're not letting them. And they also keep showing up unannounced to have this discussion. So the last time we talked to them, we said, next time you're going to have to schedule a meeting. We're not doing this whenever, you have to schedule it. And they came again today. We basically told them, schedule the meeting next time, and left. Also, today is Wednesday, so today at 1 p.m. they were supposed to actually properly sit down and meet with us. They canceled it yesterday because we wouldn't let them do a safety tour. Again, these tours are not for safety. They know exactly the operations of the camp. This is an intimidation tactic, and also a tactic for them to get information for nothing in return. But yeah, so they neglected to have the meeting. We also have been recording. I don't know if you looked at our social media, but we posted some snippets of our meetings where they're overtly admitting we're not going to engage with your demands, we're not opening a dialogue. They want to infiltrate our space, and we're not letting them. So, yeah, I mean, intimidating us. They're trying to intimidate us. We're not taking it seriously. I think it's pathetic. I think it's immature. Yeah, apart from the police presence constantly, also they know that there are certain aggressors. They've been reported to the police. The police know that these aggressors are here. And recently there was a thunderstorm, so we had to evacuate. And somebody broke into our camps, and it was the same guy. And he was destroying some of the tents. He was looking through people's material, personal stuff. The campus police did not stop him. We now know who it is. I'm not going to dox people. I'm not Israel, so.
I mean, you could tell it to the right authorities, I guess, but
they know who it is.
Oh, they know.
But they did not stop him. And I think the university is trying to use our safety as a bargaining chip, saying, look, this is what happens when you don't let us do a safety tour. So they're knowingly allowing aggressors to continue aggressing and instigating things that actually are violent.
So they came through the encampment and destroyed some stuff?
Destroyed some tents, went through some stuff. They weren't here very long. It was a thunderstorm. I mean, I'm glad the person didn't get struck by lightning. I mean, it's high up. There's trees around them. So, but yeah, I mean, they're allowing people to do this. They're allowing even professors and other UW employees to come up to us and start aggressing and asking us, about terrorism and stuff like that. I mean,
what do you mean? So what would they ask you specifically? Why do they keep asking about terrorism?
Well, actually, one professor came up to me and was justifying the British colonization of India.
Oh, really?
Saying that he believed that the British did more good in India, ignoring the 45 million deaths that happened during the partition. Basically, you can't have an argument about settler colonialism if somebody believes in settler colonialism. But stuff like that. One of the professors that came up to us was in that protest. I think you reported on it. Was in that protest, and again came up to us. Oh, a genocide? Is that what you think is happening? Stuff like that. And of course, again, we're called terrorists all the time. Stuff like that.
Okay, so a couple of days ago you told me it was a staff member. So now you're telling me professors are having discussions.
So the person who called me a terrorist was a staff member, not a professor. But then a couple of professors, actually, more than a comfortable amount of professors have come up to us and just spewing racist rhetoric and very dangerous stuff, trying to aggress. I mean, they're not trying to have a civil conversation. But anyway, yeah, the university's trying to intimidate us. They're trying to use our safety as a bargaining chip, and we're just not tolerating it. As you can see, the community is vastly unintimidated by what we're doing. We're not blocking any operations.
Compared to other
Well, to be clear, I think in the other encampments, when force was used, it was an overt abuse of power. And I think the narrative is is sort of shifting towards that now. A lot of students are getting reparations for the abuses that were done against them. This is a completely peaceful encampment. We're not violating any university operations. The grad house is perfectly comfortable with us being here, not impeding on student operations or commerce or any functions at all. We just have visibility, and the university doesn't like that. I think it would be a horrible move on their part to again abuse our human rights by sending in police or whatever. I really don't expect them to do that. I think they're going to continue with academic threats and police presence and intimidation of that sort, and just allowing aggressors to come here to justify what they call a safety tour, which is obviously not safe. So we have a huge amount of student clubs, for example, supporting us, declaring their support publicly and even helping us out with things like donations. We have tons of faculty helping us. We have people from other schools coming and helping. Of course, they're not camping, but they come and give us donations and talk to their respective faculties. They've offered things like legal support and stuff like that. Hopefully, we won't need legal support, but.
What about these board issues?
That's exactly the question, isn't it? Very good question. We've asked them this directly. What are the safety issues? We're willing to work with you. We can help remedy these issues. We can show you that these are not safety concerns. And they respond with a bunch of nonsense like, well, we couldn't possibly list all the safety concerns. So it's like, so they listed quote-unquote...
This whole thing is like a 2-page thing.
Right. They listed quote-unquote policy violations. If you read them carefully, you'll notice none of these are actually safety concerns. I think hanging flags is one of the things. As far as I know, this flag hasn't hurt anyone. Hasn't been a safety concern.
And it seems like you've.
But we hope that the university will be open to dialogue soon. I mean, we have been open to dialogue since day one. We've been calling them out. We've invited them here to have a dialogue with us today at 1 p.m. They canceled the dialogue.
The reason was this? Or?
The reason was they wanted to do a quote-unquote safety tour. And we said, no, actually, you're targeting racialized students. The students do not feel safe with your presence here. If there are any safety issues we can remedy, like I mentioned, we're totally happy to discuss those with you and assure you that there's no safety issue here. They refused this. They said we couldn't possibly list all the safety issues, but I think that's like charging someone with a crime and saying I couldn't possibly list what crime you committed. If they think there's a safety issue, then they have to demonstrate that there is one. There isn't. I mean, this is the 10th day now, and hasn't been a single safety concern except the university themselves and aggressors. They're contributing to the lack of our safety by not stopping the aggressors. I mean, they have cameras on us at all times. Students, especially racialized students, are less safe when they're surveilled. There are many, many studies done on this. And if the university really cared about safety and human rights, then they would stop investing into the most documented genocide of all time. There's no reason to surveil us. They know that we've been peaceful about these sort of protests since the very beginning, since 7 months ago, 8 months ago. And I mean, again, they're specifically targeting racialized students. They're targeting students with kufiyas. I mean, just from subjective experience, I see that wherever I go, there happen to be police there. Wherever students with kufiyas go, there happen to be police close by. I think this is absolutely unacceptable. I think these students are going through enough. Some of the people talking to us and even some of our campers have lost 50 plus family members. I mean, their loss is unimaginable and unspeakable. And I think to constantly harass them and suspect them of committing an act of violence or something like that is completely unacceptable. This is a horrible, again, abuse of power. Surveillance has never been good for anyone, especially racialized people. And yeah, I mean, hopefully we can talk to the university about their surveillance. Some of these cameras, I mean, we're not exactly sure what model these cameras are, but we know some cameras being used on encampments have things like night vision and infrared. I mean, I don't understand the need for this level of technology for something as peaceful and non-disruptive as this.